So I saw a video that was interesting, and it was saying it was saying that it's tough for men and they get divorced and it's not really their fault. Um, and this woman, mainly or just Pearly Things, I think I'll put a link. Is saying that what happens. She's talked to a lot of people, and that's valuable. She says what happens is a lot of guys, the wives stop sleeping with them and then they get a divorce after they have two kids. Now, she's saying that the women are saying that they just outgrew the man. And that's as far as she goes. And I think that it's important to talk about that as being that's the second system. There's the first system, which is chemical stuff that makes you do things like eat and whatever. There's a second system I can imagine, which is the rational reason why you do something, the working through it in your mind. But there's also a third system that gets even more intense as she goes on in the video, because what she says is that women care more about their happiness than that of their children, and that women will leave men who cheat on them when they stop cheating. Okay, so there's a lot of clues here. That's pretty interesting. And I think I can refute some of these things. So first of all, let's just imagine it's this third system, and women, instead of looking for their own happiness, are trying to find a man who is going to have the behaviors that passed on to the children will ensure their reproductive success. And this is evolution done in the mind. And I don't understand how it's done. I don't know whether it's done through learning, but it's much more hard-coded than just sort of rationalizing, reasoning through something. And I'm going in a few different directions here, but the point is that she's saying that the women just say they outgrew the guy. And I'm saying, what if there's a deeper system in play here? What if the women have a program in their mind, some women do, where they want to be single mothers? That's how they want to run things, or they want to be serially monogamist. They've had two kids with this guy. Now they want to end it. They want the money that he has to contribute, and they want something else. That's not their fault. It's just the way it is. And if you want a marriage to survive, then you have to think about that fact and how to get around that nature's programming, or that inbuilt programming that you've got, like a ticking timer. Now, the women aren't prioritizing their happiness over the children. They're trying to get the best solution to the whole mating game. And that leads to the second thing, which is the guy who cheats on her. That's bad, but it has some advantages in that if she has a son with that guy and the son sees it, and by doing this has more kids and has a better way of having kids, because he's having, he's going to have multiple partners who bear children to him in some old scenario before birth control, certainly. And now this guy stops cheating and he's needy and he wants her. He's lost his edge and he is much less appealing. So there's a reason, according to this second system, these deeper things, that she would leave him, paradoxically, when he stops cheating on her. So that leads to the final thing, which is just sort of a funny thing I've noticed. In World War II, the GIs, American GIs, and probably other GIs who had occupied Germany, there are a couple of funny things. They traded hookups for chocolate and nylons. And so a woman would prostitute herself for nylons so that she could look better, so that she could hook up with better guys, presumably, and get her way out of a really horrible situation, but also have kids, because, of course, there weren't a lot of German men around at that time. So it's just interesting to think about. And another interesting thing. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. What do you think?